I started a sneaker collection with just a $20 bill, and now I'm gonna buy, sell, and trade my way up to a pair of $20,000 Nike Max. So let's just dive into things, and I should also probably let you know that at the end of last week, we ended that episode off with a sneaker collection fund of $630.34. So that's what we have to play with at the beginning of this week. Hopefully we find something crazy. So I usually like starting the week off by stopping by Plato's Closet because it's relatively close by, and I usually hit more often than not. And the first pair of sneakers that I found was this pair of shoes, which I believe are called Cross Trekkers. I've never heard of them before. I thought that they were maybe like some weird Reebok basketball shoe that I'd never seen before, but I have no idea what these are. That's one of the things that I really like about Plato's Closet, because you never know exactly what you're gonna get. The next pair that I found was this pair of Air Force One mids that looked pretty clean, primarily black with some nice print on the Nike swoosh and also around the inside of the strap. Pretty simple, pretty clean, and a shoe that I think has some potential resale value, but after looking it up, it wasn't as much as I thought. The next shoe that was kind of interesting was this pair of Kyrie's. It reminds me a little bit of the Paranorman foams because it's got that sort of like weird colored fire. The one thing I didn't like about this shoe was the fact that the forefoot of the sneaker, the tread was completely worn off. This shoe had been played in a lot, which means that it's gonna be impossible to sell. The next shoe I found was this pair of Air Jordans. Now initially I thought this was a pair of Air Jordan 1s, but it kind of looks like it's a mashup between Air Jordan 1s and something like a pair of Air Jordan 20s. I'm not sure exactly what this sneaker was. If you guys know, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Next up, we had another pair of Kyrie's that I'm assuming came from the same person because it looked good up top, and then if you look at the forefoot of the sneaker, it's completely worn down. There's no tread left whatsoever. It's about to wear through to the air unit. This thing has not got much life left in it, so definitely a no-go for me. Whenever I go to Plato's, I've got to check out the bins, and unfortunately, it looks like the bins were completely empty today. Oh, and also, as you can see, I'm wearing my UNC Dunks today. You guys are always asking what kind of sneakers I'm wearing, and that's what I'm rocking today. The last shoe that I found was a shoe that I actually considered picking up, and that was this pair of gray and wool Nike Air Max Pluses. I've never seen this colorway before, and the shoe looked like it was in pretty decent condition, but it was priced at $45, and after checking the listings on eBay, that's about what it was selling for. So definitely not something that was worth picking up because there was just no money to be made. After that, I decided to hit up Ross because I hadn't hit it up in a couple weeks, mainly because I just feel like it hasn't had really anything good recently. There's been like 1 or 2 times that I found anything at Ross, and unfortunately it's been much more of a miss than a hit. The only shoe that I found that might have some value were the Fila Disruptor 2s. Now this is a shoe that I actually did a review on like a year and a half ago because it's such a popular sneaker. The problem was this shoe didn't have a box, and unfortunately, even though they sell out a lot of times, they only sell for retail, and this shoe was about $5 under retail, so not something that was worth picking up. Also, if you guys go to Ross a lot, you know that there's that one section where they have like the size 18 shoes, and I don't know if you guys have ever put a size 18 shoe up against your regular size shoe. Like, I'm a size 9. It's a pretty major difference. I mean, look at this. I'm wearing the Adidas Spring Blades in a size 9, and these are size 18s, and they just dwarf. I could probably put my entire shoe inside that shoe, actually. So this week we did end up making some sales, which I was pretty happy about. They also kind of all happened at the same time. The only problem was it wasn't as many sales as I was hoping. We ended up selling 3 pairs of sneakers and returning a pair of sneakers, and that's pretty much all the selling we did the entire week. So the first pair that we sold was actually kind of a surprise to me, and that was the snakeskin Adidas Forum mids. I picked up these sneakers from Plato's Closet a couple weeks back for just $35, and we actually ended up being able to sell them on eBay for $100 even, which honestly I didn't expect. I put up the $100 buy it now price thinking that no one would buy it at that and people would put in offers and I'd kind of have to haggle with people, but turns out someone actually did buy it for that, and after fees and shipping we were able to add $106.99 back into the sneaker collection fund, which when you subtract the original purchase price of $35 leaves us with a net profit of $71.99. Next up were those Air Jordan 7 Metallics that we picked up at Buffalo Exchange. Now I'm not gonna lie, I think I overpaid for these. They were priced at $85, I bought them at $85, and I feel like that was just a little bit too much. I should have tried to grab them at $60, not that I think that they haggle or anything, but if they did, that would be great. But honestly, it is what it is. At least we sold them, and at least we made a couple bucks on them. So those Jordan 7 sold for $117, and after fees and shipping, we were able to add $117.80 back into the sneaker collection fund. And after subtracting the original purchase price of the shoes, we're left with a net profit of $32.80. Not great, but at least it's something. And then the final pair of shoes that we sold were the Santana Nike Dunks that we picked up at Plato's Closet 2 weeks ago. We bought these shoes for $55 and ended up selling them on eBay for $102, which meant that we were able to add $104.38 back into the sneaker collection fund. And after all was said and done, we had a net profit of $49.38, meaning that the winner of those sales was actually the pair of shoes that I expected to make the least money, the Adidas Forum Mids. I mean, we made a net profit of $71.99 on those shoes, and we bought them for just $35, meaning that we basically tripled our money. It's crazy. I wish I could find more deals like that. So after all of that, our sneaker collection fund grows from $630.34 to $959.51. Oh, and I almost forgot that return that we made. So I ended up returning those Air Jordan 6 Bordeauxs that we picked up last week. I bought them for $190 even and was able to return them for $190 even. So after the return, our sneaker collection fund actually grows to $1,149.51, which is definitely a number that I can be happy about. Later in the week, I decided to hit up the Foot Locker in Center City, Philadelphia. Now this Foot Locker usually gets some pretty decent stuff. As you guys can see here, you've got the Griffies, which are a shoe that's actually pretty difficult to find. Now, a lot of their good stuff sells out the day it releases, but sometimes there's some stragglers. Like today, I found this pair of Air Jordan 1 Mids in this black and yellow colorway. It reminded me a little bit of the black and yellow Air Jordan 1s that released earlier this year, and to be honest, this colorway is not a bad looking shoe. The problem is that it doesn't resell for really anything. Mids, although they're popular right now, just don't really have much resale, even if it's a good colorway, so that's not a sneaker that I really wanted to grab. A shoe that I actually haven't seen in person yet was the Air Jordan 36. This is the first time I've seen them. For some reason, I decided not to order them. I probably should have and done a review. That's my bad. But it's a nice looking sneaker. I really like this white and red colorway. I actually really dig the way that this Air Jordan looks. I think of all the performance Jordans recently, this is one of the best looking ones. And then before I left, I had to hit up the New Balance section, and this Foot Locker's New Balance section was pretty decent. They actually had two pairs of 550s. They had the purple colorway, evidently in a pretty large size, so I'm assuming the smallest size they had was probably this size, maybe a size 12 or 13. And they also had this pair of dark blue New Balance 550s. Now again, this is probably a smaller size. It's probably the biggest size that they have. I'm assuming it's like a size 8. Really nice looking pair of sneakers, but I have like 4 different pairs of them already, so not something I needed. And unfortunately, because they're not collab versions, they don't really have much resale. Down the street from Foot Locker on 12th and Chestnut is Lapstone and Hammer, one of my favorite sneaker stores in the city, especially because it gets like every single release. It gets Yeezys, it gets Jordans. As you guys can see, I found this pair of Air Jordan 14s, the winterized colorway, which I've got to admit is a nicer looking shoe in person. I didn't like it online, I still don't love it, but it's definitely nicer looking in person. The one gripe I have about this store is purely a filming issue, and as you guys can see, there are these weird black bars on the screen right now, and that's because whatever kind of lights they have behind these panels just mess with my cameras, and on a phone where I can't really change the shutter speed, it's just impossible to work with. That aside, they did have a pretty decent selection of Yeezys. As you guys can see, they had both of the new 380 releases. It looks like they only really had smaller sizes. They had this sort of dark gray and black colorway, and they had this sort of white and tan colorway. I don't mind the 380s, they're incredibly comfortable, but I think they're kind of an ugly sneaker, so not something I was trying to pick up, especially because there's no resale. They also had the new Adidas Pharrell Sachonas, a shoe which I don't think took off the way that Adidas wanted it to. The last shoe that I checked out was this pair of 700 MNVN Honey Fluxes. Again, they've been sitting here for a while, no resale. So I don't know what it is, but over the last couple weeks, I've been money on the Sneakers app and the Confirmed app. I've been winning sneakers left and right, and this week is no different. In fact, here's the haul that we got from last week. So these are all sneakers that I won on the Sneakers app and the Confirmed app. I bought all of these with the Sneaker Collection Fund, and I'll go through the prices and what they are in a second. In fact, I'm actually going to unbox them for you guys. My plan is I'm probably going to list all of these guys. If you want to grab any of them, there will be a link to my eBay store in the description below. But I'm going to try and sell them, and if they don't move in the next week, I'm probably going to return them as well. But I feel like these are better than the shoes that I picked up last week, so let's just dive in. So let's start off with this pair of Air Jordan 1s. So this is a shoe that I actually talked about in a Weekly Heat video a while back, and it's not my style, I'm gonna be honest. So this is a size 9. I paid $190 retail for it, which is a lot, but when you guys see the sneaker, you'll understand why. So let me pop the top. Ooh, that's actually kind of cool. And then underneath the other paper, we've got the sneaker itself. All right, okay. Well, I'm definitely not keeping these. So these are the Air Jordan 1 Zoom Air Comforts, I think is what they're called. So this is a different kind of take on the Air Jordan 1. It features a full-length Zoom Air unit, which means that they're a little bit more comfortable than a standard pair of Jordan 1s. However, this sort of a gold laser colorway not for me. I'm a big fan of the Jordan 1. It's my favorite sneaker of all time, but this shoe is, it's a no for me, dog. You've got these metallic gold hits on the upper that have laser etch details. Kind of reminds me of that one level in Halo 3. That one where you find the hammer and it doesn't matter. I mean, overall, it's not a bad looking sneaker. It's got exposed foam on the edges. It's just not something that I would ever wear, and this will definitely be listed on the site. This is the one that I don't think is actually going to sell. I'm going to try and sell it, but if it doesn't, I'm just going to return it. I don't know. I kind of wish I hadn't hit on this one, but I did. So we got to figure out something to do with this now. Okay, so next up, we've got another pair of Air Jordans. This is the Billie Eilish Air Jordan 15s. This shoe retailed for $225, which is a lot. It's a women's shoe, so I bought a size 10.5, which is a size 9 men's. Let's pop the top. I have yet to see these. All right, so this is the all-vegan leather Air Jordan 15. It's got Billie Eilish's logo right there on the inside of the tongue. The shoe comes in this monochromatic tan look. I'm actually kind of into it. I actually think this is a nice-looking sneaker. Now, I'm not sure what resale is like on these. I'm assuming it's not crazy, so I'm probably going to list this one on eBay as well. I mean, if I can keep it, I might, but to be honest, $225 is a lot out of the sneaker collection fund, and I'm not really trying to lose all that money, so hopefully this sells. Again, if you guys want to grab it, link in the description below. And then the final shoe that we picked up is this pair of Yeezys right here. You guys probably already know what they are based on the 500 on the top of the box. But sliding the box open, we have got the Adidas Yeezy 500 Clay Browns. This is the first 500 to drop in a long time, at least that I can remember. This is actually not a bad looking sneaker. It comes in a tonal brown upper. It's definitely a new color when it comes to Yeezy 500s. I mean, there's been a million brown Yeezys, but this is the first really dark brown 500 that I can remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. But again, it's not something that I really need, even though I like it. So I am gonna list it on the eBay store and maybe on GOAT and StockX. Depending on the resale price. I have no idea what these are going for. I don't think it's that much, but I'm sure, I could at least make a couple bucks, hopefully. I don't know. Now that I've seen all these sneakers, I'm not as hyped on them. I feel like I just want a bunch of easy sneakers to win, so I didn't really come out on top with this one, dang. Well, it is what it is. I paid $200 for these, again, with no taxes and no shipping fees, same with the other sneakers, so it was their even retail price. That was all I paid for them. So subtracting the cost of all of these sneakers from our sneaker collection fund, we are left with $534.51. The good news about all of these pickups is that unlike a lot of the thrift store pickups, if they don't sell, we can return them and get all our money back. A few days later, I decided to hit up my go-to Buffalo Exchange. This is a place that I found some of the craziest sneakers in this entire series. And today I was hoping to find something hopefully on that same level as the Travis Scotts and the Air Jordan 1s, but I know that's a lot to ask for. The first pair that I found was this pair of Adidas sneakers. Now, I've never seen these shoes in my life. I have no idea what they are. They are Boost sneakers, and they kind of have a primed knit upper, so they've got that sort of like new school Adidas look. If you guys know what these are called, let me know in the comment section down below, because I have no idea, and I just don't think they're worth anything, so not a pickup for me. No matter what sneaker store I go to, I always make sure to check out every single size, men's, women's, kids, and every size, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Now, one pair of sneakers that I found while I was doing that at Buffalo Exchange was this really interesting pair of New Balances. This kind of reminds me of like those North Face slippers that they have. It's a weird looking shoe, and if it was my size, I honestly would have grabbed it because it's so wild. The next shoe was this pair of Air Max 97s in this sort of gray wool colorway. It's actually kind of interesting that we found two different gray wool Air Maxes in the same video. I didn't expect that because I never see these shoes, but unfortunately not much resale value there, especially with what they were asking for them. And then I found this pair of, I think, Nike Shocks. I'm not exactly sure what these are. They've been behind the counter for a while and they finally moved them out to the shelves. Looks like no one really wants them, and it's not something that I really want, so I'm gonna leave these guys. Next up, I found this pair of Jordans, which kind of look like a Air Jordan skate shoe with like an Air Jordan 4 outsole and midsole, and then like a weird mashup shoe on the upper. I've never seen this shoe before. I'm sure it's some kind of team shoe. I'm finding a lot of crazy stuff that I've never seen, just unfortunately it's all not very valuable stuff. Then I found this pair of custom sneakers. Now, this is a pair of custom golf shoes. It looks like they painted the midsole, which didn't come out very well. For some reason, at this Buffalo Exchange, I found a lot of customs. You guys remember those Air Jordan 3s from a couple weeks back? I don't know why all the customs that I find are in Buffalo Exchange. Maybe there's a customizer somewhere who does like really rough work. I'm not sure. Next, I found this pair of New Balance X Racers, one of my favorite New Balance silhouettes for hiking. It's a really great looking sneaker. My favorite colorway of this shoe is the Bodega version, which I've actually hiked in a good amount. This colorway isn't bad. It comes in like a bright blue with some greens. Not a bad looking sneaker, but priced a little bit high and not something I really wanted to grab because the resale on these isn't great. And then surprise, surprise, we came upon another random customized sneaker. Now I'm assuming this was an all white shoe before, but when I looked at it, it was pretty poorly painted. The blue paint on the mudguard was chipping and creasing and cracking. There was some gold around the Nike swoosh, which actually didn't look too bad. It's just weird that we find so many customs and in the same video too. Like, I don't know why this keeps happening, but definitely a no-go. But then I came across a pair of sneakers which I was really surprised to find, and that was this pair of Adidas Yeezy Desert boots. Now what was interesting about this pair is that it actually had a StockX tag on it, and it had been worn, which means that someone wore the shoe with a StockX tag, which got me thinking, is this shoe fake and they put a StockX tag on it to make it look like it was real, or did this person buy it and wear it with a StockX tag, which is arguably worse? But after looking at the shoe, I was pretty sure that it was real. I checked online a couple places, so I was willing to take the risk, especially for $125. And even though it had the StockX tag on there, I figured, I'd cut that off, list it on eBay, and when it sells, eBay would check it out and make sure that it was in fact legit, so I was willing to take the risk on it. Then I came across another random find which I didn't expect, and that was this pair of Balenciagas in this red colorway. Now I think these are the Balenciaga Arenas, and they're in this sort of grenade red colorway. Buffalo Exchange had these priced at $150, which I thought was a pretty good deal, and they were in great condition. The outsole was barely worn. They still had the dust bag, as you guys can see inside the shoe, and the upper of the shoe was also in pretty great condition. No scuffing, no creasing, and for $150, I was willing to take the risk. And then the last stop of the week for me was the Nike outlet in Center City. I really wanted to stop by here because I've been watching Unbreakable's videos on his crazy Chicago outlet finds, and I figured they've got to have something like that in Philadelphia, but as you guys will see, it's not the same. Now the first pair that I found was this pair of LeBrons. There was a couple pairs of these, so I'm assuming that they, if they did sell out, they didn't have any resale because people were returning them. Nice looking pair of shoes, but not something I needed. Then I found this pair of ACGs in this really nice sort of light tan, blue and orange colorway. I'm a big fan of hiking shoes. I go hiking every so often, so it was nice to see these, and if they had been in my size for a better price, I might have grabbed them. Next I found this really interesting pair of Nike Blazers that came in like this patchwork colorway. It came in like light pinks and blues and greens. I've never seen these before. If you guys know what these are, let me know in the comment section down below. I don't even remember when these released, but I'm just noticing now, but even the midsole is made up of a couple different panels. A really interesting sneaker, but not something I knew anything about, and I checked resale prices online. There wasn't really much there. Then I found what I consider one of the most underrated collaborations of the last couple years, and that's the John Elliott Nike LeBrons in this gold colorway. I think the entire collab in all the colorways was incredibly clean. I think my favorite is the white colorway, but this one's also pretty clean. If it had come in my size, I would have grabbed it, especially for $80, but it was a size 7 and there's no resale whatsoever. To be honest, the surprise of the day for me were these Nike Alpha Fly Next Percents, or whatever they're called. This is a $275 sneaker, and I was hoping that this shoe was going to be priced a little bit lower because it was on the hash wall, but unfortunately, still full retail price at $275. Next up was a pair of Jordan Series .01s, the Dear Dolores colorway. An interesting $80 lifestyle shoe. I've never seen them in person before. They're honestly kind of plain and they look like skate shoes. They were priced here at full retail, and unfortunately there is no resale, so not something that I wanted to grab. I don't know how I missed it when I first walked in, but I looked over and I saw this pair of Air Jordan 1 mids in this purple, black, and white colorway, which I honestly really liked. Now it looked like they had a lot of different pairs of these. They had this weird red sticker on them, which I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe it's like they're discounted a little more, I have no idea, but unfortunately there wasn't a lot of good sizes, and for full retail price, it wasn't something I was willing to take the risk on. This colorway doesn't really go for much on StockX, and if they had been discounted a lot, I might have grabbed a bunch of pairs, but unfortunately, not really worth it. And also, the only pairs that I could find had been tried on. Like, they all had dusty outsoles. I mean, it's a nice looking sneaker for sure, but not really worth the effort for me. So as you guys just saw, we picked up these Yeezys and these Balenciagas. Both definitely solid pickups. I'm pretty sure these are both legit based off of the research that I've done on them, but again, because I'm selling them through eBay, they'll get authenticated before they get shipped off to the buyer, so it's not that big of a deal. Other than if they're fake, I'll lose some money on them, but it is what it is. It is kind of weird that this StockX tag is on this shoe. It means that the person bought these, wore them with a StockX tag on them, and then decided to trade them into Buffalo Exchange, which is a little odd. Guys, if you're doing this, please just stop. Don't wear your StockX tags on your sneakers. It's one thing for off-white shoes. I'm already not a fan of that, but these StockX ones, oof. That's rough. As far as the Balenciagas go, I was really surprised to find these. Actually, what's annoying is that after I looked back at the footage, it turns out that there was a second pair of these in Buffalo Exchange, like a couple shoes over. I did not see them the first time around, so I may try and go back and grab them if these ones sell. If not, then I'm just gonna obviously just stick with these ones. But the nice thing about both of these shoes is that they're both in my size, so if they don't sell, I can rock them. Bad news is though, after spending $270 on these guys, our sneaker collection fund is now down to just $254.51, which is a far cry from the $1,100 we had in the middle of the episode. Definitely a little bummed by that, but I feel like there's some good potential profit here with all of the new sneakers we picked up and also the Balenciagas and the Yeezys. So hopefully we sell all of these, hopefully we make our money back and more, and then we can start really going in and buying some crazy stuff. I think my next move might actually be, once we've sold all these, my focus this week is going to be selling these, by the way. Once we've sold all these, maybe buying something crazy on like GOAT, like a crazy used pair of sneakers. But that pretty much wraps up episode 21 of buying a $20 sneaker collection. If you guys would like to grab any of the sneakers that I have for sale, I've left a link to my eBay store in the description below. Also, let me switch back into my old outfit because I filmed the next part on a different day. Once again, huge thank you to Extra for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to sign up for Extra by clicking the link in the description below and start building your credit with a debit card. And we're back. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.